Hey guys, so there are some new contouring products on the market and I picked up a couple of them and I'm going to talk about those today. But before I start talking about the new contouring products, I just want to talk briefly about contour products in general and what you should or shouldn't be looking for in a contour product. When you contour your face, it can go very wrong very quickly if you're using the wrong product. So what you want to look for is something that is number one, matte. You don't want shimmer in your contour because that sort of defeats the purpose, because what you should be doing is creating a shadow on the side of your face. The whole purpose for contouring is usually to make your face look slimmer, and so you're creating a shadow or an illusion of a slimmer face. So by putting a shadow right here, that's bringing this part forward. Light comes forward, dark recedes, and so you want it to be gray because shadows are gray. However, there are so many contouring products on the market that are straight up brown. And I honestly don't get that, because I understand that we need to take our skin tone into consideration and that there are more warm tone people in the world than cool tone. However, you still want it to be gray to a certain extent to give you that shadowy image. So having said that, just keep in mind when you see contouring products that straight up brown is not going to give you the effect that you want it to give. All right, now that I've said my piece here, there are other things to take into consideration besides the fact that you don't want it to have much or any shimmer in it, or a lot of shimmer, and also gray versus brown. You also do definitely need to take your skin tone into consideration, because if you are warmer or cooler, you can pull off certain products better than most people would, but we'll get to that. I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, so the new products for contouring. There are some new palettes by Wet n Wild. Just as a frame of reference, I want to show you the ones that came out last year. This is one from last year. It says Coloricon Contouring Palette Contour. I get a kick out of that name. Contouring Palette Contour. Why did they feel the need to put that word in two different forms in the title? I don't know. I don't work there. I just report the information. So yeah, this is the contouring palettes that one of the contouring palettes that Wet n Wild came out with last year. The one I have is in Caramel Toffee. I am wearing it today because I like this palette a lot. I think it's a really great product, and I was so impressed with it, especially for what it cost. So that is obviously the contour side, and that's the highlight side. I don't use the highlight because the highlight is extremely warm, and me putting a yellow toned powder on my face as a highlight doesn't really work. I mean, it would be okay, but there are better options for someone like me with cool tone skin. So whenever I buy these palettes, I very rarely use the highlight side. Anyway, the video is about contour, so get back on track, Deb. Okay, so this is the contour I have on today. I thought that this was a great product, but Wet n Wild decided to tinker with the formula, and now they have released new palettes. And this one is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette Contour. And this time I picked up the shade Dulce de Leche. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And because the Caramel Toffee one, the color scheme on it is very different than it was when it looked like this. So for my two options now, I thought that the Dulce de Leche one was a better option for me in terms of color. So that's what that looks like. Now, what they did was not only did they change the color schemes, but they changed the formula. And the formula on this one is like that. And just as a frame of reference, I know these are not the exact same color, but just to show you the formula. Okay, now I just swatched the old style palette with my middle finger, and you almost can't even see anything on my finger. All you can see is this one right here, right? So they made it much more pigmented, and that's why they changed the formula, which I can totally understand. Why do I still prefer this one? Because my skin is very fair, and contouring is easier for me when I have a less pigmented product. So that's something to take into consideration. However, if you're not very fair, then you will probably really enjoy the new palette better because it's going to be easier for you to work with. So that is that. I do like it, but if you look at the colors, this is the old one, this is the new one. What was I talking about before about gray? This is grayer. So color-wise, I feel like this works better for creating a shadow or contouring your face. Okay, and I did also want to mention that every once in a while, Wet n Wild puts out contouring palettes in their limited edition collections, and I love them. This one is Sunset Junction, and this one is Fair Trade Coffee. And the thing that I like most about them is the highlighters. I know this is a video about contouring, but I just have to mention that Wet n Wild's limited edition collections, you know, when you see them in stores, don't think, oh, it's a limited edition collection, there won't be anything good in there. Yes, there will. A lot of my very favorite products from Wet n Wild were in limited edition collections, so they're not like the typical company that's just throwing something out there to try to make extra sales. Their limited edition products are usually very, very good. So these are a couple of palettes from last year's one of their limited edition collections, and do you see how those highlighters? This is the highlighter from Fair Trade Coffee. How gorgeous is that? And this is the highlighter from Sunset Junction. So just really, really beautiful. Now, as far as the contours go, they're kind of brown. However, they're light enough in color that I can make these work. Especially this one. This one is a little bit lighter. This one I can make work too, though, because of the tone of it. So anyways, those are all Wet n Wild contours. And then Essence just came out with a new contouring palette. I was only able to get it in medium because that's what they had on the shelf. The store that I was at didn't have the light one. They don't carry it, I guess. They're just going to carry the medium one. So this is Essence's new contour powder, and you get a contour powder and you get a highlight. And the highlight shade is kind of peachy and not that pigmented. And the contour powder is sort of in between. I mean, you can see it on my finger, but it isn't super pigmented either, so it's somewhere kind of in the middle. And just to show you what it looks like on my skin tone, that's what it looks like. So it's pretty brown. So, you know, had I to do over again, I think I would have waited and tried to find the light one somewhere. I might even try to find the light one. If I see it somewhere, I might pick it up. I'm not sure. not really. I have other options that I like a lot better, so I can't say I would recommend that. And as far as the new contour palette from Wet n Wild, I probably wouldn't repurchase this either, but like I said, the only reason why I don't feel like this is an improvement for me is because of my skin tone. So if you're darker than me, you probably would like this better than the old formula. Now, what are my favorite contours? My favorite contours are Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzing Powder. Now this is brown, and I just got done saying that gray is better. However, the reason why I love this so much is not the color, but the formula. The formula is so easy to blend, and just it's pigmented, but even though it's pigmented, it blends so beautifully that it doesn't matter if you put a little bit on, you're going to be able to blend it out. If you put a little bit too much on, you're going to be able to blend it out. So I love, love, love the texture of this. Is just to die for. But the color is brown. But yet I can make this work because it's light enough to go alright with my skin color and tone. Something that works a little better for me is the Maybelline Contour Palette that just came out. If you have light skin and you're cool tone, even if you're not cool tone, if you're neutral, I would say, cool tone to neutral, you absolutely need this palette in your life. This is pretty incredible, especially for the price. The highlight is very pretty because it's a very neutral shade of highlight that will go with pretty much any look that you want to do. The blush is just a very basic pink blush, but it's pretty and I like it. And this contour, it blends really easily. It's just pigmented enough. It's matte. It's very, very nice. This is a great, great palette, and I love the idea of this for travel too, because now you've got a blush, a highlight, and a contour that you can use all in one palette. You don't really need anything else to take with you for traveling. Some other options that I don't want to leave out. This is NYX's HD Blush in Taupe. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a gray contour. I love the color of this. This is perfection. However, this is not my favorite contour because I'm not wild about the formula. The formula is not the easiest to blend, but oh man, they nailed it on the color. If I could find a color like this with a texture like the Too Faced, that would be the ideal contour product. And I have heard that there are some super high-end options that do match what I'm talking about, but I don't have access to those stores, I don't order online, and I don't want to pay that much for one product because I think it's kind of ridiculous. And I love to try new things, so I don't mind like trying all these drugstore options. Another option is the NYX Contour and Highlighting Palette. This right here is very nice. The color is pretty much, you know, grayish brown. The texture is nice. It's got a little bit of shimmer in it though. Why would you do that, NYX? Why would you put shimmer in a face contour? It doesn't really translate too much to the skin, but it's there and it kind of bugs me that I can see it there. But that color is really, really nice for contouring. But again, the texture or the formula, I can make it work, but it's not the best. So, now when you see various contours, because I like to mix it up a little bit, but some other contours that are popular that you might be familiar with. This is Benefit Hoola Bronzer. Nice texture, nice formula, completely matte, and light enough, but a little too brown for me, in my opinion. And then the balm, Bahama Mama, really nice formula. Too dark for me. You know, for somebody else, this might be really nice because it's kind of that taupey brown color that you want to create shadows. So if you're darker than me, you might love this. So definitely wanted to throw that out there because the formula on this and the packaging is adorable. But the formula on this is really, really nice. Some other options, if you live in a country that has Isadora, this is a really nice palette. I think that highlight shade in there is stunning. The blush is really pretty. This is a nice contour. It's a little brown, and it does have a little shimmer in it. Again, what do you think in Isadora? Don't put shimmer in the contour, or in a bronzer, just in general. But yeah, this is not bad for an inexpensive palette. But Isadora is not readily available in the United States. There are a handful of places where you can get Isadora in the States, but there's not that many. But this is a really nice palette as far as being an affordable option. And something else you can contour with is MAC's Sculpting Powder in Sculpt. It's that taupey color, but the texture is kind of dry. I feel like it could be a little bit easier to work with, but the color is good and it's plenty pigmented. And one last thing that I just want to mention is MAC's Blush in Taupe. Color-wise, this is a good one. Texture-wise, it's a matte, so it's kind of dry, not so easy to blend, but the color on this is good. So those are all my contouring options here that I have, and I actually have even more, but these are the ones that I thought were most worth talking about. And if I could only use one for the rest of my life, I would say that probably the best option would be the new Maybelline Contour Palette, because this shade has just a tiny bit of a pink tone to it. The color, the tone, the texture, I really like it. And I love these two products too. So this would probably be the one I would choose if I could only use one forever. Or until it ran out. So that's it for today, you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.